My name is Nguyên Khang. I'm in class 4-5, Trần Nhân Tông Primary School, Da Nang City. Today, I'm going to tell you about the Spartans. When people think about Spartans, usually you think about like maybe Leonidas with supposedly 300 troops leading into battles against the Persians. I'm going to tell you about the life and maybe a bit of history about Sparta. So like Sparta started somewhere in the 3rd millennium, 4th millennium in the land of Lycodius, and it was founded by a few people when a few people decided to set up a village in a remote area that was disconnected to basically everywhere else by a river and a mountain, which is something you find really common. Mountains are really good for protection, though they might be obsolete at some point. So the life of a person in Sparta would be like not very luxurious, because usually in ancient times you find stuff like entire pools and areas where people would meet with each other like that. Well, Sparta, it wasn't really like that. Licinius, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Well, apparently, some people think about it, some people argue about it, but apparently, to Spartans, this guy was the one who decided that Spartans should not have a good lifestyle. They did so hard in the English language. If you say something Spartan, it means it's like mediocre / not as good as something else. Well, for the lifestyle of a person in Sparta, it would just really depend on like what gender you are. For example, if you're like a lady, then either one. If you're like really unlucky, you're just gonna get drafted in the army in like when you're 7 years old. But for a male, it's an absolute. You have to join the army. It's literally in the specifications for Sparta. In the specification, you have to like have this weird thing going on there, and like you got to join the army, and you got to be like have parents that are of Spartan descent. So it's really tough. And well, here's a quick thing. These boys are 7 years old, just like those girls that weren't drafted into the army. So and like they have to go through a process before they do that. That you gotta check about their health and just health. And if they don't meet the specifications, they're seriously gonna die. They're gonna die there. But if you do pass, then you might be part of a king's army. Well, it would really depend on which time you're coming from. As when the Persians started invading, Spartans had to go on warships to fight the Persians, which is something that I don't find them really good at. The Spartans were built to be soldiers on land, not in the water. But they actually did something good for once there. Sparta eventually had to collapse at some point, though it still lasted after its collapse and tried a rebellion that failed. Sparta collapsed to the freaking Thebans, and then they lost again to the Macedonians. King Philip of Macedon once said, "You should surrender, or else I will bury you to the ground and never let you wake up again." And the Thebans said, "If you do." And of course, well, Philip of Macedon did it. Alexander the Great, when there was a rebellion, he called them puny little rebellion. So that's it for the Spartans. Goodbye.